Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn history. Today the video for me, and after we've done it, we're gonna do ECU Tendon training. The ECU Tendon is here, and if you participate in the ECU Tendon training, it is at your own risk, and we're talking about war. Okay, this is part 10 or whatever. Okay, the treaty of Amiens was signed between Britain and France, basically making peace. And there were some things declared, some regions were given back to France, some to Britain, some also, Netherlands were also involved, the Italian Republic and Spain also. And now it was signed in 1801. Amiens interlude. Upper-class British visitors flocked to Paris in the second half of 1802. William Herschel took the opportunity to confer with his colleagues at the Observatory. In booths and temporary arcades in the courtyard of the Louvre, the third French exposition des Produits de l'Industrie Française took place on 18 to 24 September 1802. According to the memoirs of his private secretary, de Bourrienne, Bonaparte was, above all, delighted with the admiration the exhibition excited among the numerous foreigners who restored to Paris during the peace. Okay, but telling me there was a lot of cultural travel, cultural influence and visitors during that 1 year peace period. There were people coming from Britain, upper-class British people traveling to Paris. William Herschel, he came to an observatorio, and also in the Louvre there were things from the Exposition des Produits de l'Industrie Française exhibition. And according to the private secretary of Napoleon, was he delighted with admiration about the exhibition that it excited among numerous foreigners who restored to Paris during the peace. So that's why people liked the exhibition of the things exhibition in the Louvre in Paris. The things from Egypt, I think. Among the visitors was Charles James Fox, who received a personal tour from Minister Jean-Antoine Chaptal. Okay, there was some person, his name Charles James Fox, and he was toured personally by the Minister Jean-Antoine Chaptal. Within the Louvre, the addition to the display of recent works in the Saloon of 1802, visitors could see the display of Italian paintings and Roman sculptures collected from all over Italy under the stringent terms of the Treaty of Tolentino. Okay, there was at some time some sort of treaty. Very quickly. There was the Treaty of QKQLUUZL. That had something to do with that Napoleon agreed to guarantee the independence of the Italian and other client republics, like the Italian Republic in northern Italy. And then there was the Treaty of Tolentino sometime, and that had brought France into the possession of Italian paintings, or paintings made in Italy in the past. And now we're having the Treaty of Amiens. J.M.W. Turner was able to fill a sketchbook from what he saw. Even the 4 Greek horses of St. Mark from Venice, which had been furtively removed in 1797, could now be viewed in an inner courtyard. William Heston arrived at Paris on the 16th October 1810. Roman sculptors did not move him, but he spent most of 3 months studying and copying Italian masters at the Louvre. So basically, a lot of people from all over Europe came to the Louvre in Paris and went into the museum. The English were not the only ones who profited by the halcyon lull in hostilities. From London, Russian Seaman Woronstov noted to a correspondent, "I hear that our gentlemen are making extravagant purchases in Paris. That fool Demidov has ordered a porcelain dinner service, every plate of which cost 16 gold a door." All people over Russia were giving. For those who could not get there, Helmina von Chelsea collected her impressions in a series of vignettes contributing to the journal Französische Miskel, and F.W. Blackton and John Carr were among those who brought up to date curious English readers who had felt starved for unbiased accounts of a people under the influence of political change. Here that I think it not really. Hitherto high 502, unparalleled. During a separation of 10 years, we have received very little account of his astronomy people, which could be relied on, card noted in his preference. From all over the world, people were coming and looking at it. A number of French immigrants returned to France under the terms of relaxed restrictions upon them. French visitors also came to England. Wax artist Marie Tussaud came to London and established an exhibition similar to one she had in Paris. The balloonist André-Jacques Garnier staged displays in London and made a balloon flight from London to Colchester in 45 minutes. Okay, people were coming from France also to Britain. The Spanish economy, which had been badly affected by the war, began to recover with the advent of peace. Much as it had been at the start of the war since 1793, Spain remained diplomatically caught between Britain and France, but in the period just after the signing of the Treaty of Amiens, a number of actions on the part of the French government antagonized the Spanish. France's unwillingness to block the cession of Trinidad to Britain was one of the things that most irritated King Charles VI, I think one of Spain. Spanish economy interests were further injured when Bonaparte sold Louisiana to the United States, whose merchants competed with those of Spain. Following that sale, Charles wrote that he was prepared to throw off the alliance with France, neither break with France nor break with England. Okay, so basically what they said now in this little interlude called Amiens interlude was that there were artists coming to France, to Paris, and watching at all the paintings and the other things in the museums. And people were also going to Britain and were doing their balloon flights and opening the Wax cabinet, I think, the Marie Tussaud cabinet. And also scientists came from back and forth. But also the political aspects went on. Spain was badly affected, and Spain was diplomatically between Britain and France, and they weren't really happy with each other. Spain didn't like that Trinidad, the island in the Caribbean, came to Britain, and they were not happy that the Louisiana part was south of the United States, because they were in merchandise competition with the United States. And now I don't understand what they mean with that statement. Neither break with France nor break with England. Following that scale, Charles, the Spanish king, wrote that he was prepared to throw off alliance with France, neither break with France nor break with England. I don't get it. And we all don't have time left. So that was the interlude. The next chapter will be the breakdown. And I don't mean that we're having it now a bit shorter set. That means the breakdown of the Treaty of Amiens. If you're here for history and you want to hear now how this whole Treaty of Amiens, this story of peace, friendship, and good understanding will end and continue the war, you can go directly to the next point. We will do now the ECU tendon training. If you stay and participate in the ECU tendon training, then it's at your own risk. Good and still stand up with the hands next to us, making fists and bring the fists up and down the flat kit. And that was for the last time. And the next exercise, the counterfeit money check. The fist next to us, and up and down. We're having 3 rules. The first rule is that we're stopping immediately as soon as there's pain. The second rule is that we're going only as fast as we can go with a little bit of effort. And the third rule is that we're not overdoing it. So if you want to take a break, do it. You just want to strength, not to exhaust. I'm going to use now tennis racket. The tennis racket is light. It just takes around 1/3 of a kilogram at weight. But it has a long level, so whatever you use, do it in accordance with our 3 rules. The elbow in, take the lower arm, and doing the Manikaneko, goes slowly over the racket to one side, and then over to the other. Last time. And now long arm out over to one side. And next exercise, now with the hand on the top, and we're doing the half soga. Bring the arm up, over to one side, or back in, and down again. Another time, up, over, back in, and down. And now, the garbage truck's grabber arm this time does the palm face upwards. And another time. Now we pick up a hand. First, elbow in and the manico. Last time. Now with long arm out. That's the last time, and now again from the top of the palm, up, over, back in, and down. Another time, up, over, back in, and down, and now again with the palm facing upwards. And the last time. I'm going to use a sock, but you can also use a t-shirt or a towel. Press with good force onto it and bring the wrist up. And down. And on again. And on the other line. Wrist up. And down. And the last exercise, just press with full force. And on the other side. And that was the ECU technique. I thank you very much, and until next time.